Right. So, is it possible to zoom in maybe? Not so sure it can. Right. Right. Box opening time. Okay, first of all, let's whiz the camera back around here. Welcome to the car preview of the GT Sports Slot-in Proxy 2024. This is the car preview. Edu Van Halen, welcome. Right, let's get some volume up, I think. They've gone and changed the layout of this since I last did a live stream. So I'm just trying to find the volume controls. I'm not sure it's where it needs to be. Microphone, yeah. Well, I'm going to presume it's okay. Can you hear me all right? Can you hear me? Right, here we go. Just going to dig one of these cars out at a time. Here's something I've just been working on recently. It's a Baron Classic fiberglass Alfa Romeo that may or may not find a place in a future proxy. Anyway, the briefing notes from Graham. Make sure you read them. Now, after the last proxy, I took a photograph of each layer and stuck it in the box. Each layer was numbered. Made it easy for each host to repackage the box. So according to this picture, this is layer 2. That says layer 1. There we go. So this is layer 1. Makes it nice and easy to put the cars back in the right place, as you can see. we'll start off with this, which just happens to be the I've set the fastest qualifying time. And this is Bangers Racing Ferrari 512BB. A nice 3D printed chassis on this. Angle winder. Not sure of the motor. Slotting plus guide, sprung guide, which might come in handy on the plastic tracks. Let's just have a closer look, eh? I think this is a racer 512 BBLM. Nice, lots of float. Got coated front wheels, nice and free. Rears, I knew I should have got a magnifying glass. Back in a sec. I don't know what tyres they are, but they're on the chart. Graham's done a great chart of all the parts. Nice and grippy tyres. Just a little bit of float, that's nice, that. No side to side float, which is excellent. Front to rear, that's nice. That's going to go nicely. It's got a nice gear mesh. That is going to be a little flyer. Well, it already has been because Graham's driven it. I think those are Staff's wheels. We'll probably see quite a few cars with Staff's wheels on. They're very nice. Right, next car. I've been looking forward to seeing this. I always thought, looking at the photographs online, that this was a small car. It's not. It's huge. Right, this is Graham's De Tomaso Pantera. So this is a Carrera body on a very nicely made 3D chassis. Very nicely made. I'm going to ask him. I'm going to have to ask him where he got that from. As you can see, Staff's wheels. Let's put the light on, see if that'll make a difference. Nice interior. Nice, just a nice bit of float. Oh, let's get that light on, that's annoying me. Nice bit of float. Pantera, it is, isn't it? It's a Group 5 as well. We have a Group 5 class. And I just fancy something different. This looks like it would be very competitive in our class. What tyres has he got on it? Now, interestingly, he's not hard coated the fronts. Nice grippy rears. It's a nice smooth car, Graham. That motor should be more than enough. That's the motor you get in NSR Moslers. So yeah, that's going to be more than enough. Nice bit of float on the pod. Interestingly, no tape. Was there any tape? I don't think there was any tape on this one either. No tape on that one either. Scale Auto guide. Point that. A wee bit of side-to-side play on the guide. It shouldn't cause any problems though. Alloy spur gear. And is that an NSR pinion? Right, float. That should go well. That should go really well. Nice and stable. It's in there somewhere. There we go. Next car is Andy's BMW M1. So this is a Scale Auto body. Andy is one of the 3 guys in the Max Slot Car Club who have entered this Proxy, and he's entered 2 cars. This one is on a brass chassis. He's got a Slotting Plus guide with no front wiggle, which is good. What I have noticed with Andy's chassis is there's lots of flex. Let's get it lined up. Lots of flex in it, lots of movement, and independently rotating fronts. I know he's got NSR Ultras on the back, the original Ultras, not the Evos. Slotted gear, sharp 21.5 or 22, and some damping tape. Bit of lead at the back there, under the axle. Now I've driven this car, and it's quick. One of the regular Group 5s that you normally see on a club night, unlike Graham's De Tomaso Pantera. But I know this will go quick. Next car, and I noticed there is a loose rear wing, so that's staying in the box. Savage GT BMW M1. I think this is a Scale Auto as well. This is really nice. I like it. Wheel inserts. Don't throw those plastic wheels away, guys, because they can make great wheel inserts out of them. Right, Slotting Plus. Let's have a look. 3D chassis. No, it's not. It's a Scale Auto chassis. In line, interestingly. He normally likes to go at angle winder, so we'll be interested to see what this goes like. Alloy wheels on the front. No slot there, which is good. Slotted inline crown. Scale auto motor. That's a 22k. What we like on that? Very little movement actually on the pod. As a matter of fact, that pod's screwed tight. There's no movement at all there. But it's got a nice bit of movement on this, on the body to the chassis, so it will still flex. It'll still go really well, but it'll be interesting when it goes like with that inline. Knowing Savage, this will be a belting car. Next, out of the what seems to be a box of BMWs, Rosillo Racing BMW M1. Now this is a racer BMW M1. This one's done a few miles by the looks of it. Mind you, mine looks a bit worse for wear as well, actually. Right, so this is actually a standard car. I think he's even got the standard guide in it. Very little slot there. Fixed wheels. Standard motor. All the ones I measured of these, they measured about 19k. They're supposedly 21, but all mine are 19. Standard gear. We have a club member who races a BMW 320, and it is rapid. Standard 320 is very rapid. Right. That pod is rock solid. It looks like it's glued as well there. Looks like it's glued it just along here. Nice gear mesh though. Right, body float, yeah. On the front. Plenty. Everybody's different. Everybody likes to set the cars up differently. Let's get some flow. I want to see what it's front to back. It's quite a flexible chassis. It's quite soft plastic. Well, it'll be interesting what it goes like. What's the balance like? Okay. Just after halfway. Well, it should go all right. It should go all right. Standard racer Group 5s are really good cars. Next one out of the box. Brumos RSR BMW M1. Racer Sideways Group 5. Not seen one like this before. Nice set of alloys there. Basically a standard car, but with the damping tape. The Canada and America, they like to use this wide fiber tape right down the middle of the chassis. Looks like he's got an NSR guide on there. Very little to no side-to-side play, which is excellent. Independently rotating fronts. It's binding a bit on the wheel arch on this one. It might be all right on the track, but in your hand, it is grabbing a little bit. That one there on the body shell up here. Hollow axle, hollow front axle, solid rear axle. Let's get. Oh, I don't know what that motor is. I'll have to have a look on the tech sheet. But it's got a sidewinder. It's going to go well. Let's see what tyres these are. NSR. NSR, probably ultras. Slotted pod. I think he's got an NSR pinion in the back there. That motor feels really nice. Right, about pod, yeah. So the tape dampens that, so it can still move, but it just slows it down a little bit. So if your car's snatching the corners, put some damping tape over it. It won't stop any movement, but it'll just slow it down a little bit so it won't snatch. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. It's definitely catching. But his tyres always work well. Very nice looking car, that. Next car out of the box is Green Star Racing BMW 320i. Racer sideways 320i. Standard chassis. Well, it works. These are fantastic cars, and this is probably, of all the ones I've seen, the 320 is probably the best of the bunch. Standard guide by the looks of it. No play, that's great. I don't know what tyres they are. Can't see any markings. I think they actually slot it. It'll be on the tech sheet. A little bit of movement on the body. little bit of rock on the pod, which is nice. Standard motor, standard spur. I don't know what the opinion is, but that should go really well. That's going to be a belter. If it goes anything like the ones that we actually have a set of these. We have a set of Jägermeister ones of these as a club class, the club cars, and they've done thousands and thousands of laps. So I'm expecting that to go well. This is the tracker, guys, and Graham's got a lead, a charging lead to go in it. So before sending it off to the next host, plug it in, connect it up, and it'll charge. Cheers. Oh, also in that same pocket, there's a bag for loose parts. So it might be a good idea to put that wing in. It can't possibly get lost, can it? So that's off that car. The next layer. So this is actually this is the so that first tray was the sports cars group 5 1970 to 85, and this one is the Inter Series 1966 to 1990. On the first car out of the box. So these have been put in the box in qualifying order. So this is Graham's GT40. So they slot it slightly narrower than an NSR, but I think they go better than the NSR, to be honest. A standard chassis, standard slotted chassis, but with a slotted pod and an NSR Shark 21 sidewinder. Scale auto guide with very little slot, which is excellent. It's got quite a bit of weight in there. I'm presuming that's tungsten. Nice and loose. Front to rear. These are very flexible cars. It's nice thin plastic. Now, interestingly, he's got the pod tight, but he's obviously done that for a reason. So what are these tyres? Oh, BRMs. Yeah, BRM tyres are brilliant. They are excellent tyres. Nice and free. Your guide's just catching there, Graham. Just in there. You can't see a damn thing, won't focus. When I had it set up on the Logitech software, I could put the zoom where I wanted. But this isn't letting me do that. It's okay that size, just catching. So on Graham's track, this went very well. So I'm expecting this to be a little flyer, and we have a set of these as club cars with the same setup, but with a 25k motor, the Shark 25, and they're brilliant cars. Next is Andy's Le Manx. So this is the second car of the Le Manx. It's a fly Porsche 917K with one of Andy's brass chassis. This is a really early one though, because it's got an old NSR Sidewinder pod cut off across here and fixed somehow to this part of the chassis. This must be 7, 8, 9 years old. This setup, and it flies around. Slotting Plus guide. So his brass chassis just have a wee bit of flex on that center tongue, but it's damped by the tape. This one's quite a bit stiffer than the other one. It's using much thicker wire. You can change the stiffness of a brass chassis by the gauge of this wire. Independently rotating fronts, NSR Ultras on the back, Shark 21.5 or 22 motor. I like his little tailpipes. Some brass tube. This should go really well. Well, I know it goes really well because I've driven it. Feels quite heavy. Ah, it's not like Andy. I didn't notice that. He's got some lead in there. He's got some lead here. He normally doesn't put lead in his cars. He doesn't like heavy cars. Next car. This is nice. So this is Arles Racing 412P. I think it's very similar to the Ferrari 330. It was basically the same car, just one or two slight body differences. But this is a slot hip. I've not had a chance to look at one of these close up. Standard setup by the looks of it. Standard motor, standard Sidewinder pod, standard gears. I'm not sure what guide that is. Very little side-to-side play, which is good. Nice and free. Hard-coated tyres. Stop it digging in. Okay, these tyres look interesting. What on earth they are? My gut feeling. Yeah, they are. My gut feeling was Thunderslot. Thunderslot tyres. Thunderslot tyres are brilliant. But my favourites, which I've recently tried out, are the 004s. Let's do it this way around. You've got a screw. Oh, they need taping over, actually. Before we start, I'm going to get some tape over those. Well, that's a good. That's another good spot, actually. Make sure that, because that screw's sticking out. I don't know whether you can see it. I'll get that sorted for you before we drive it on Saturday. Pod is tight. These are a little bit slack, which is okay. There's a lad at the club who's got a yellow one of these, and he's done very little to it, and it is an absolute flying machine. Yeah, I'll get that sorted for you. It's sort of catching as well. But it'd be interesting to see what these tyres are like. But he's not trued them. As you can see, there's a little pip. He's not trued them. I don't know, everybody's got a tyre truer. Next is BA Racer Porsche 907K. I think that's a fly body shell. On a Oliver 3D chassis. Oliver do really good quality aftermarket chassis for loads and loads of. Oh, I have to sort that. I've just seen your braid. Don't worry, it'll get sorted out. Each car will get a check on Saturday. We're going to lay them all out, check all the braids, clean the tyres, clean the braids with lighter fluid. Quite a floppy axle on that one. Oh, look how those wheels are nice, aren't they? Get some light on them. Yeah, so you got quite a floppy axle. Quite a floppy axle there. Some people like that. Not sure what the guide is. Very little play, which is good. Rear Very little movement on the pod. Well, there's a little bit, and some tungsten ballast. What looks like a slotted DTM motor, slotted crown. Nice grippy tyres, which is maximised his width there, that's for sure. Nice and loose. It's got a 3D vac formed interior in there, which takes quite a lot of weight out of the top of a car. That should go well. So we'll get that sorted for you. And again, tape over the holes. Next car, Team Alaric Porsche 908. This has to be a fly. If you want to get a nice classic, fly make some brilliant ones. They do loads and loads of different models. I've got 3 or 4 myself. So is everything so far. Looking at the top is standard. It's got the original detail on the back. What looks like staffs alloys, the pepper pot ones. Standard car. This will be a Class A car then. So it will go well. I mean, it's Sidewinder. What's not to like? Everything goes well with Sidewinder. Right, he's got a sprung slotting plus guide. Slotting plus guide's brilliant. I've got this on both of my cars. Right, side to side play. A little bit more than I'd like, to be honest. That was my car, but then it is a standard fly. It's good to see that you've blue tacked in the screw holes as Graham requested, and tape over the others. Now, I read somewhere on one of the forums that the best way to set these fly classics with a separate motor mount is to glue them out into the chassis, and this is quite tight, so it should go quite well. Front axle got a little bit of float on the front axle. Flexi chassis. The standard, the Class A is going to be interesting this year. There seems to be a big push on it for this Proxy, which is good to see. So what tyres are these then? It's got coated front tyres. Another one with BRN tyres. They'll go well. I know BRM tyres are really good. Everybody used to race with NSR Supers, but you can't get them anymore, the original ones. For standard class, I'm looking forward to driving that. I say standard class, Class A. Ooh, now Thunderslot by the looks of it. Harrison's Racer Lola T70. Oh, it's not. It's a fly. Okay. It's got the spare tire in the back still. Scale auto guide. Again, that's a wee bit, but in a standard fly chassis, the only way you can get rid of that is to put some sleeving around the shaft of the guide to take up the gap in the hole. Taped screws, which is good to see. They're probably original rubber, so they'll be hard. That's good. Right, rears. What's he got on this? These are NSRs. Sidewinder. Again, another Class A entry. Can't tell what the motor is. Is that a Pioneer motor? Nice and smooth though. That's going to be another interesting one in Class A. Right. Been looking forward to having a look at this one. Make 'em Movers, Wolf Dallara. So this is a 3D printed body. I think this is one of JS's body shells. 3D printed wing. Oh, I like that. Them wheels are good. That's interesting, isn't it? How you that wheel arch there, semi covered in. It's not catching though. Okay, so this is a JS chassis, 3D printed. This is one of his. I think this is one of his newer designs. His early designs had a flexi all-in-one chassis. Slotted flat six, super nice and smooth. Angle winder, probably slotted angle winder. That should have a lot of brakes. That should have a lot of brakes. But these motors are always nice and smooth. Oh, I see. I've not seen one of these, so I'm just casting an eye. So you got a floating or a flexi center section. It seems to be tight on this side. It's nice and loose here though. Something must be binding on this side. It's not flexing. Oh, I see. I think there's actually grub screws in. I think there's actually grub screws in here, so you can adjust the flex on it. You can see one side's this side's nice and loose. This side's not. Well, that's going to be interesting. What's it like? What's it like? The whole thing. This light isn't ideal, is it? The body doesn't have any float at all. on the front and the rear. Well, it's going to be interesting. It's interesting to drive that, see what it goes like. So that's layer 2. Right, next layer. Next layer is Global GT 1994 to 2006. Burst out. This is a bit bright. Right, Bangers Racing Honda NSX. Is this a scale auto? He's got hollow axles front and rear. .3D chassis, angle winder, slotting plus guide. Yeah, very little. That's good. Sort your braid out before racing. Solid front axle. Right, that looks like a scale auto motor, maybe a Sprinter or something. They're actually really good motors. A slotted angle winder. The front screws are tight, and the back ones are loose, so the pod can move independently of the chassis. Right, let's have a look at the motor. That's a lot of float. Tape over the screws. How about the front? A bit less, a bit less. I wonder if he's made this himself. Done on printed on a textured plate. I've got a textured plate on my Prusa. It saves slathering glue all over it to get stuff to stick and release. Those tyres are nice. Those tyres are really nice. I wonder what they are then. Can't tell. Right, front to rear. What we like front to rear. Well, that's nice and flexible. That's nice. You're going to make a rally car out of that, mate. Not this car, but that setup. That'd make a great rally chassis. It obviously makes a great GT chassis as well, because I think he was top qualifier in that in this class. He's got 3D printed mirrors as well, which is good. That's really nice. Looking forward to driving that. Yeah, I've just noticed that even the front splitter, the detail on the front splitter there, it's got little ailerons sticking up. That's a nice chassis. I like that. Right, next is mine. Max Mod Sports Ferrari 550. This is a SCX. It's an SCX Ferrari 550 GTS body with a 3D fact formed interior. The original chassis. It's the original chassis, and this was an early mod that I did with a slotted sidewinder pod cut into the chassis. So I cut a hole in it and bodged it really. Slotting plus guide. No side to side. I don't know whether you can see those red things there under the guide. The shims, 0.2 mil thick shims. So I just make them. They're the same shape as the top of the guide, and not only does it space the guide down, but it stops the side to side movement. Independently rotating fronts. I don't know what on earth the front tyres are. They're just some hard tyres which are glued and trued. It's got a Shark 21 and 21.5 or 22 in the back, sidewinder, NSR Ultra Grips, the original Ultra Grips, with wheel inserts I made from a set of wheels. Right, body movement. A little bit, only a little bit on the back. I get it lined up on the camera. There's not a great deal of movement on the body because the pod's nice and loose. So front to rear, there's quite a lot of. Right, I've got tape on this. I've got tape which goes down that way, and then tape across here. And I've also got tape on the top, on the top of the pod on the inside. So that clear, very high bond tape across it. Just acts as suspension, well, a damper. And I remembered this time to tape over the screws and the other screws there. I prefer screws down the middle of the chassis. Next one, the Marcos. Right, so this is Scott Sports Marcos Marcos LM 600. So I'm not sure whether this is a Revo or a Fly. I think it might be a Revo because this here, Marcos, with a sprung NSR guide. A bit too much side to side for me. That's going to cause it to deslop at high speed on high speed corners if you're not careful. Get rid of that slop. It's a Pendle. Oh yeah, so it will be a Revo slot then. A Pendle 3D chassis. I've got one of these for Toyota. Slotting plus motor, which is really popular in Europe. Is yeah, motor sticking down quite a bit there. Yeah, a good 1.5 mil anyway. Slot it sidewinder, sorry, angle winder pod. Fronts. I don't know what on earth's going on there with your front tyres. Like it's been rubbing on something. Oh, you might have made it, you might have done that on purpose. Who knows? Rear tyres, what are they then? I'm going to have a guess at Thunder slot. No markings at all. Not the foggiest idea. But they're super grippy. Right. Body movement. Yeah, a little bit. And the rear. Got a bit of binding somewhere. Yeah, of course, because it's Thunder slot, it'll have the 2 mounts here and the 2 mounts here. So these have got a nice bit of movement. That screw's sticking out there. Yeah, this one's binding. Get tape over those screws. But I've got a Revo one of these, and we have a set of Revos as club cars, and the Marcos is the best of the bunch. Next car, Harrison's Racers, Toyota Supra. Oh, this is one of the Japanese touring Japanese Super GTs, isn't it? With Staff's wheels. Nice paint livery. I like that. And 3D chassis. Angle winder. Scale auto guide. Got just a little bit of slot there. I need them. I'll sort them braids out for you before we do anything. That's not good at all. Right, solid front axle. Hard coated. I'm not sure they've been trued. They might be. Right, rears. What are the rears? Are they NSRs? NSRs. They look like Evos. Right, movement on the pod. That's nice and loose. Front and rear. Tape on the screws, which is excellent. Yeah, that's another with the motor sticking right below the chassis. So what motor's that then? Red Devil. Is that a pro slot? Nice and smooth. Should go well though. Front to rear, what front to rear like? There's no reason why that shouldn't go well. Right, this looks, oh, it's BA Racer, there we go. BA Racer F1 GTR. It's a slot it. Black's my favourite colour, so of course I like this. That's a nice interior, a vac formed interior, and this a standard slotted chassis. Solid front axle, Staff's wheels. Are they sponsoring this this Proxy, Graham? There's a lot of them. Slotted flat 6. I like this motor. It's one of my favourites. Nice and smooth. Blue tack over the screws was excellent. Again, the braids are in a right mess. We'll get that sorted for you. A right mess. But we'll get it sorted for you properly. Right, body movement. Come on, there we go, there we go. Yeah, nice bit of movement there. Nice and flexible. That should go well. What are these tyres then? I always like to look at tyres. NSR. These look like Evos as well. Now, interestingly, how on earth? Right. So he has got an angle winder in there. It's got an angle winder gear. Don't know whether you can see. So it's an angle winder gear, but with the angle, it's the wrong way around. So it's with the gear flipped. So maybe that was to get the gear mesh that he was after. It still works like that. You don't have to have the teeth parallel. As long as you've got gear mesh, that'll work all day long. Right, pod. Yeah, just loose front and rear. That should go quite nicely, actually. Right, next up. Brasileiro Racing Mercedes CLK LM. And and it's a Ninco. Don't forget me tea, it's going cold. It has gone cold, but I don't like to waste it. Right. Just the standard interior as well. They're actually remarkably good cars, these. I've got a couple of these myself. Standard Ninco in line. That might be an SRP motor. Standard Ninco guide. With no side-to-side slot. That's brilliant. Solid front axle. He's even using the original crown gear in there. The alloys on the back of that. Just looking for a grub screw. I don't know whether they're alloys or not. Right, tyres. Let's have a look what tyres these are. I don't know. Nice bit of body rock. You need body rock when you haven't got a pod. You need as much flex as you can get. So there's no reason why that shouldn't go too bad, actually. So look at your ground clearance at the back. Tons of ground clearance because them back tyres are huge. We'll see how it goes. Next up is Maker Movers Dodge Viper. Oh, like them wheels on that. They're nice, aren't they, on the front of that? Yeah, I could see the drivers struggle to fit in there. He must be a tall fella. He's had a lobotomy. Right, what we got here? Oh, 3D chassis. In line, interestingly. I would have liked, if that was mine, I'd want to try a Sidewinder in that. NSR guide. Just a little bit of play, which is good. Body, what a body movement. Very little to nothing at the front. And nothing at the back. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There's a little bit. But if it was me, I would have on the chassis, I would have skimmed around the chassis so that it's not rubbing on the inside of the body. It's binding a little bit. Get some tape over the screws. Right. Nice floating pod, which is good. Solid front axle. Got NSRs on the front of that, probably 0 grips. And on the back, NSRs as well. Yeah. See, got some tire damage there. Something's been rubbing against it. I think that's what Graham mentioned. Slotted contract gear. Slotted motor. Pretty good motors, these. Yeah. I would try and run it with your body a bit looser than that. Another one that the braids need some TLC. We'll sort that out beforehand. Just there's a couple more yet in this box. I recognise the roof on this one. This is Ed's Batmanx Mercedes CLK LM Zeninko. He bought this specifically for this Proxy, actually. Oh. That doesn't sound good. Something rattling around there. It's gonna catch. I'll have to. Yeah, that's going to cause problems. I'll have to sort that out. Slotting plus guide. No side to side at all. That's excellent. Blue tack in the screw holes. See, this is a standard car. There's a lot to like about this. Ninko motors are very underrated. Very smooth. Solid axle, glued tires. Yeah, on the tires. Slotted crown gear. Now he's gone and used. We did give him some stick about this actually. He said I put some slotted tires on it, and me and Andy said, "What the hell did you do that for?" He had NSRs on it. So will he? Oh yeah, there's this. Oh, you can see there's something inside. Just yeah, that needs looking at, Ed. That's going to cause problems. But I've seen it go on our track. It goes nicely. He's done about 1 million practice laps with it, and so it should be consistent. All right, now the last car in this box. This is Kev's Team Cube Ferrari 355, and it's a Pro slot Ferrari. staff's wheels. Nice match for the car. Standard chassis. Very rarely see Pro Slot cars on our track, so it'd be interesting to see what this goes like. That might be a standard guide, but no side-to-side slot. That's excellent. Solid front axle. Pro Slot motor. I think that's a Scale Auto Sidewinder gear he's got in the back of that. It's nice and smooth. I think that's an SR pinion, which is always a good thing. Right. So where's the screw? Oh, I see, the screws there. Very little movement there. Now this has got a kind of a pod. It's a non-adjustable pod. It's a little bit stiff. It's a lovely car though. Be interested to see what it goes like. All them tyres. NSRs. Yeah, it just feels a little bit tight, that's all. It should go nicely. Should be a nice smooth driver. A one for the Class A. Next tray is the British GTs. Right, this is Aid's car. Come on, off you come. There you go. Right, Green Star Racing Porsche 9. It says 911, but I think it's a 997. I think it's an RSR. Scale Auto. It's got a US Army about it, hasn't it? Yeah, US Army, but with a British flag. I really like it. Wow. Now that's what you call lightweight winders. Lightweight. It is a really light car, actually. I like what you've done with that. It looks tremendous. So Scale Auto make fabulous cars, overlooked by a lot of people. Slotting Plus guide, a little bit of side to side on it, on the independently rotating fronts. With a hollow front axle, slotted Sidewinder pod with a oh, that's one of the American motors, isn't it? Is it Piranha or something? It's got a nice grab to it when you rock the that should be nice and punchy. Right. Nice float there. Nice float there. Front to rear. That's nice and flexible. It hasn't got any weight in it at all. Blue tack over the screw holes. Excellent. Should get extra points for that, Graham. NSRs on the back. Is that a slotted sidewinder gear with, I don't know what the pinion is. Right, pod movement. Mind you, with it being that flexible, it doesn't need it. There's a little bit, that screws back a wee bit. Yes, it is. Yeah. Just a bit of movement. That's nice, that. That's going to be one to try and keep up with this year. Next car. Courtney Sport Mercedes AMG. I'm not sure what make or body it is. Scale Auto, maybe. Very nice. I like the squiggly paint job on it. Another with paper thin windows. Actually, it's thinner than paper. And a vac formed interior. This is on a Oliver chassis with a Thunderslot pod, solid axle, sounds nice, doesn't it? Nice and free, almost like it's ball raced. Right, what have we got here then? NSR pinion, another of these American motors, which are supposed to be fantastic. Is it Piranha or something? NSRs on the back, probably Ultras. Fair bit of ballast. No tape. Right, movement. Nice bit of movement here, and just loose here. What about the back two? Yeah, bit of movement there on the back. Is that sprung? It's quite light. Odd bit of body movement. That's very flexible, that, very flexible. That's why, yeah, I don't like using these two screws. I find it restrictive. That's really nice. But that's another one that would make a good that setup would make a good rally car. Oh, you're missing an oh, you don't need an insert. You've got alloys, haven't you? Well, clean your braid for you. It's a bit black. That's a nice car, lovely. Right, this is an interesting one. I'm looking forward to seeing this actually. Rumos Ferrari 458. So this is a Black Arrow. It's a shame they don't make cars anymore. They make some fantastic cars. And this is on a Oliver 3D chassis. Sidewinder. Yep, hollow front axle. I think he used a hollow front axle before, with NSR tyres, independently rotating. That's nice and free. It's not binding at all. I'm not sure what the guide is. Let's see what the side to side is. Tiny bit of side to side, it's okay. Tape over the screw holes, over the front one anyway, which is excellent. This is not sure what that motor is. Sidewinder, slotted sidewinder pod, slotted spur, secret tyres. I think he uses Thunderslot tyres. Which are nice and grippy. Right, what kind of body floater we got here? Just a little bit. That's nice. On the rear. Can't really tell. And there's lots of flex in the chassis, so it probably might not need it. The one thing I don't like about the Black Arrow, the standard Black Arrow setup, is that the body doesn't sit on the chassis, which to me holds it back. I can just notice on the body here, there's like a little bit of molding on the chassis, sorry, on the body, for the chassis to sit up against, but the chassis is underneath. Whether he's done that on purpose, I don't know, but they're both the same. The chassis is above that little pit on both sides, so it won't tweak it anyway. And this wide strapping tape to act as damping. That's going to be quick. I like the engine detail in the back of this. Owls Racing Corvette C6. This is an NSR. Can't go wrong with an NSR. Can't go wrong with a Corvette either. Black and gold interior. Can't go wrong with black and gold. So this is a standard NSR set up, but this is one of the later ones. Sidewinder with this motor, independently rotating fronts. No slop on the guide, which is good. Drop arm is fixed, and I didn't like the drop arm on these. Right, what about his pod? Oh, I see, it's sprung. Well, it is on one side. This side's moving. Well, that side isn't. The front is as well. That is. That isn't. Slot it sidewinder. Gear. What we like for body movement. Tiniest bit. Just feel tight. Rear. Yeah, the chassis. Oh, you've got a bit of movement there. Okay. You've got a fair bit of. You've got a bit of binding here. I'm guessing you've got some lead here. Yeah, you have. You've got some lead there. It's rubbing against the body, which won't be doing it any favours. That might spoil the handling a little bit. This side's all right, but this side's catching. Tires, can't tell the sidewalls are ground off. But again, this motor, I'm gonna have to get some of these in. It just feels, it feels great. Is that one of them ball raced ones? I think it is. Ball raced motor. It's going to be quick anyway. This is the other of my cars. Manx Mod Sport Aston Martin DB9. This is a Scalextric. With a, it didn't. I resurrected this. It was bought as a scrapper without a wing. So I printed a nylon wing. 3D interior, standard glass, standard chassis. I originally had, let's get it on there. I originally had a bit of a little, let's get a pen just so that everybody knows really. I originally, when I sent it, I had a bit of piano wire from there to there, just this side of the gear, thinking that it might, I don't know, make it a bit stiffer, who knows. Anyway, it's not there now, it's gone. Slotting plus guide, no movement. I don't like side to side movement. Blue tack in the screw holes on all four. These are NSR Ultras. Sharp 21.5 to 22 motor. Slotted sidewinder gear. NSR pinion. This was really noisy when I first put it together. Put an NSR pinion on it and it went a lot quieter. Independently rotating fronts. Yeah, I've got weight. I've used some tungsten TIG rod weight. I've got some weight on top of the chassis here and some underneath the front axle. Right. So movement. Now, this is the way these scalies are. Is the front splitter is a separate piece to the body and the chassis. So Graham did say that he had to take the body off to get that piece of wire off. So, and he said you'll have to reset the float because that's just far too much for me. It should be tiny. And the back, again, that's way too much for me. So just nip them screws up. Did I say NSR Ultras on the back? The original Ultras, and an old slotted sidewinder gear that I had that was just the right number of teeth. With it not having a pod, I've tried to keep it loose. I've tried not to stick anything on top of the chassis here in this area, so that it can still flex. So the whole chassis can flex because it hasn't got a pod, and you need a bit of movement. Yeah, after the rally Proxy, I said to Andy, I said, I'm not messing about for the touring one. So I made that Audi that I put together was a special. I did that special. I said, I'm not messing about. I'm going to go for it, and it did fantastically well. For this Proxy, I decided to go with a standard. This was like the first of my choices. I'm gonna have to have a standard car. I need to go Class A, just to support the Class A really. And it seems that this Class A has been super popular in this one, which is really good. You don't need a special car. So it'd be interesting to see how it compares to the other cars in this class. Yeah, that's how I bought it. But originally I had a black stripe down the middle, a thin black stripe, which I didn't like because it was like squiggly. And so getting rid of the black paint that went down the middle, it looked a bit messy. So this is just gold acrylic pen, and then just lacquered over the top. This is a beauty. Savage GT Aston Martin Vantage. Now this is a Scaly or Hornby. Isn't it a belter? What a fantastic looking car. Them wheels do it really, really proud. Solid axles, I see. What a fantastic looking car, mate. Love it. Standard chassis. Inline though, this one, whereas the DB9 is an angle winder. Slotting plus guide. Let's have a look what you've got here. A little bit of slot there. On mine, I used a bit of 8th thin wall brass tube to take up the difference between the hole in the chassis and the shaft of the guide. Solid front axle. Now he's got one of those ball race motors in, so it'll be interesting what this is like. So it'll be quite, yeah, it sounds great. Can't wait to use cars with these motors in, just for my own experience, really. It's got a slot it inline crown gear. These tyres, are they Thunder slots? Yep, Thunder slot tyres. Not sure whether they're 4s or 5s or 2s. They don't look true though. Blue tack in the holes, in the screw holes. That's excellent. So yeah, this is different, isn't it? This, whereas on the Aston Martin, this is one piece. That's nice and flexible. Yeah, what's the wheelbase like? The wheelbase. Same wheelbase. The DB9's fractionally longer body. This is much wider. It's a good 2 mil wider. I'm going to have to get one of these. That should go well. A bit of class has entered the room. Team Alaric Bentley Continental GT3. So this is yeah, this is scaly. Those wheels look great on this. Got the original interior in it as well. So this is one for Class A. Sidewinder like the Aston. Slotting plus guide with a space. He has spaced it. Bit of slop. Solid front axle. not sure what that motor is. It might be a Pioneer motor, a slotted sidewinder. I think they're slotted tyres. How about body movement? Quite a lot of body movement. Blue tack in the screw holes. Excellent. Yeah, that should go well. Don't be scared to go down the standard car route, guys. And Scalextric are surprisingly good. Right, Team Cube Aston Martin DB9. This is another Scalextric, same as mine. And funnily enough, he's got 3D printed wing on his as well. Original interior. Full windows this time. Standard setup. Not sure what the guide is. That's nice. No slot there. That's excellent. It's filled the screw holes in, which is excellent. Don't know what the motor is, but it's got a. Oh right, this might actually be a standard motor, because he's got the original plastic gears in there, which again are surprisingly good. We have a back to basics class for TV and film cars, and the standard plastic gears are really good. Scalextric stuff shouldn't be laughed at. Right, now that's really tight compared to mine. That's solid. How about the back? That's solid as well. That's really stiff. I would have experimented with backing them screws off, Kev. You've even got the original plastic bushes in there. Scalextric, eh? Don't knock them. There's two more cars in this class. Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. This is Ed's other car. Thanks, Porsche 911. This is a standard Scaley. Looks like the driver's trying to put something on the dashboard, reaching out. Nice colour though. He did have problems setting it up. Oh yeah, this has got the original setup. Now your front braid, I need to sort that out. We'll sort that out before you get racing. Slotting plus guide, no slop at all. That's excellent. Rear, you've got, oh yeah, these are slotted tires, and you can see that they're balling up already. So he's got some blue tack in there, a bit of tape there over the screw. Slotted sidewinder. Pioneer motor, I think I'd put in this one. A tiny bit of play. How about the back? That's more like it. Which means his chassis, let's get it lined up. He's got a flex in the chassis, which is good. Ed's happy with it, that's the main thing. And we'll do our best with it. And then finally, Scott Sports BMW Z4. I think this is a Scaly. Yeah, it is. Standard Scaly. I've got one of these actually. Never done anything with it. Andy'd like this because he's a Demon Tweaks fan. Staff's rear wheels. Another one with the driver reaching out for something on the dashboard. NSR guide. A little bit of slop there. That's good. Bit of movement there. How about the rear? Oh, that's, yeah. That should go all right. That should go well. What are they then? BRMs. BRM tires are really good. Yeah. Body's not binding. 3D wing. This should go well. Yeah, I think that'll go quite well. Put these all back. Right. Racing commences on Saturday morning, and hopefully the film footage will succeed this time. And we'll have a look at the cars before we race them, make sure all the braids are straight and clean, and that there's no screws hanging out or nothing falling off or anything. Me and Andy will race the same lanes as we did for the saloon, so I'll be on the blue lane, Andy will be on the yellow lane. We'll race all the cars on both of those lanes, and try to enjoy every second of it, because it'll be over in a flash. So enjoy the racing, guys, and may the best cars and teams win. See you later.